Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. We are here for late night transfer talk. It's the first of these. We do transfer talk 3 p.m. every day, which we still do. But a late night one for all you late night owls that don't go to bed, to which the 25 of you watching don't go to bed early. We do love to see it, and if you're wanting something to watch, we are here. So what are we going to be talking about? Well, I'll tell you. Just after you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Do that now. If you're watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube and get involved in the comments. So what are we talking about today, you ask? Sancho United update. It looks like this is a done deal, and I'll explain why in a second. But also, Emile Smith-Rowe being tracked by Aston Villa. As you can see, he's already in his new shirt, which I've delicately put his head onto. And the last one, Conte has set specific demands to Tottenham Hotspur, including the striker issue that Tottenham are currently under. So they are the three updates that we need to talk about today. So let's start with Sancho. Sancho is not on Chelsea's list. Sancho is not interested. Well, Liverpool are not interested in Sancho. United are the only destination for
Great, they can have
Sancho.
him. They can have him.
But there's also elements of this. The United Stand and Fabrizio Romano have reported that a deal or a big news on this update is going to be over the weekend, early into next week. We are expecting a update within before the Euros. Update before the Euros. So make sure that you are aware that an update is happening. We will, of course, bring you any major updates. If it's a major update that falls without one of these shows, we'll bring it live. If they, let's say Sancho is signed by United, we would obviously go live with that information for you. But Charles, what do you make of this? I mean, Jadon Sancho, a very good player. He's been on United's list for quite a while now. Do you think this is a deal that's going to get done?
I mean, there's two parts to this situation. Yes, Man United have money, Man United have potential and all that, but unfortunately this season they didn't win a trophy when an opportunity came about.
Personal terms have been agreed as well.
Yeah, no, my point is that, like, just because personal terms, anything can change. I mean, Sancho for me.
No. They agreed the personal terms after United's loss in the Europa League final.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Well, I think he's very brave. I think for me, Jadon Sancho is probably best at Man United. He's probably going to fit in better. However, until certain changes get made above. Like, you have to start at the top and work down. Like, start from the bottom and work up, because now the owners. No, I'm talking about like just all in. If you talk about Man United in general, you have the owners that are issues. Then you have some of the board members. Like, then that leads into the backroom staff, the management, and then the players. So it all stems down. But do I think Jadon Sancho is going to be great for Man U? Yeah, absolutely. Take him, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want him at Chelsea.
Yeah, no, and you wouldn't, because you don't really need a Sancho.
No, I don't.
For me, United do, and I think he adds a lot to United. And look, Ollie needs better players, and he needs to be backed, and a Sancho would be somewhat that backing. But he is by far not, by no means, the only one they need. They need a fair few. Big up Niall on the late night show. Yes, we are doing late nights. Congratulations, Niall. Thank you, Lewis. Where is Prime? I don't have a tracking device for Prime. Big up to Kenny. Have you seen what I sent you from the Muppeteers? Yes, I literally read it out. Niall, can I have the link? Yes, the link will be posted in the chat after I've gone through the next two. And Reese says, I did say on Sancho. United should get rid of McTominay and Dan James. They are poor. I would get rid of Fred and keep McTominay, but that's just personal appearance and preference. Kenny, I just went on MasterChef and they adore my biryani. Lie, tell my daughter it's past her bedtime. Charlotte's past your bedtime. But Reese, what do you make of Sancho? I mean, it's one of them worst unkept secrets of all time, really. United looks like they're the only team in for him, but they were also the only team in for him last year, and they still didn't finish that race. So, do you think that this is going to be different? Do you think United will secure Jadon Sancho?
I'm muted. Good work. Yeah, like you said, it's kind of the deal that's always going to happen is kind of inevitable at this point. It seems like it's the right time for him, obviously, in his opinion, to leave Dortmund. Obviously, he's wanting to come back to England for the past couple of years. I think with the personal terms, I think that was basically agreed last year, and it was probably just renewing the interest, maybe putting the wages up another 10k because he's had another great season, or something like that. But yeah, it's just only United can cock it up at this point, which I mean wouldn't surprise me in all fairness. But I think Ollie is probably going to say to the owners, "Listen, you fucked me over last year with hassling over what was it like 5-10 million or something like that.
Yeah,
don't do it again, because just offer the same amount we offered last year and we'll get him, because that's how much Dortmund are asking for." So yeah, it should happen. And I mean, if he does anything more than what someone like a Greenwood is doing, because I mean, obviously Sancho is probably a world-class player at this point, I think it's fair to say. And obviously Greenwood is in that bracket of sort of, you'd probably say he's a wonder kid. So obviously with how well he's doing, if you take a world-class player and put him into that same position, you can only imagine how well he's going to do. In a counter-attacking side, he can, he's got bags of pace. In a possession-based side, he's got skill, he's got flair. He can pick a pass. He can have a shot. It's a great player.
I hear that. I do hear that. But do you think what's stopping this deal apart from United? What's stopping this deal?
Not really. Like you said, unfortunately, as much as I would love us to get him, because I think he would honestly be the most perfect player for us at the moment, just something completely different to any of our attackers, or wingers at least. We're just not the type of player to spend 80, 90 million or whatever he's going to cost. And obviously Chelsea's priorities aren't really wingers at the moment. They've got a lot of attacking players. They're just looking for that number 9, like we spoke about earlier. I don't really see any other clubs in the market for a type of player like him. I think the thing that clubs want at the moment is goal scorers, whereas United kind of need a creator, somebody in that specific position that is going to be there for the next 5-10 years. So it's kind of the perfect transfer for them.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Charles, you mentioned in terms of the board, obviously the board is an issue, but do you think, regardless of the board, this improves United?
I mean, like, if you look at it on paper, absolutely it does. Jadon Sancho does do that. However, Man United have a little bit of a mentality problem. I mean, you saw it in the final. Look what happened. They just didn't turn up. But I think that, you just gotta just hope it improves them in some. Like, I'm hoping, because my worry is that Jadon Sancho goes to Man U and has a mentality problem too, which is really what I don't want. But I'm hopeful,
No, I hear that. I do hear that. It's one of them that it will happen, but we'll see. We'll see about that. Sorry, I was just updating this so we can have Sancho and Smith Rowe in their shirts next to us, just to trigger some Arsenal fans, really. Because seeing Smith Rowe in a shirt for a bigger club than you is going to be difficult. That's for sure. Comments going mad. Comments will be in the chat in a second. Let's talk Smith Rowe. There was actually some developments on this. It says the 20-year-old midfielder was touted with a move to Villa Park. Smith and Villa are monitoring Smith Rowe's contract with his contract ending in 2023. Arteta and Arsenal are confident of keeping Smith Rowe at the Emirates, with DOF Richard Garlick leading negotiations. Charles, I'll go to you first as one of Arsenal's rivals. Do you see any traction in this move at all, Smith Rowe to Villa?
I'm not even shocked. To be fair, I'm more shocked that half the team's not on the list to move to Villa. That's what I'm more shocked about. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. They have issues. They have severe issues. They have Kroenke. I mean, they have a mentality problem. They have a manager problem. They have an owner problem. They have a board problem. So yeah, I mean, don't really know what else to say but the fact that I'm not even surprised. And I think Smith Rowe could thrive at Villa. I do. The only question I would have for Villa is, would Villa take Abraham back over Smith Rowe? That is my question.
See, I don't
Only
think they would, because the reason I say that is because
Tammy
they've got
thrived
Watkins.
under that.
Yeah, but they've got Watkins now.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm
I
sorry, you can't
think-
compare Bambi on ice to Watkins. Sorry,
I
my
think
bad. I
Villa
apologise.
I think Villa's out of limits, really. But what about you, Reece? Smith Rowe to Villa? Do you see any traction in this at all? You're muted again.
You're still muted. It's okay. I've done this so many times. Niall knows I've done this.
Because I'm ill, I keep coughing, so I keep muting myself every time. Right, yeah. So Barkley's obviously been at Villa this season, but it doesn't look like they're going to make that a permanent. So obviously it would make sense for them to bring in somebody who can play that 10 or the 8, like he's played a few times as well for Arsenal. Obviously, he can go on the left as well. It could be sort of a really nice interchange with Grealish, because they both kind of they're very much free roam sort of players. And obviously he's a young player. He's shown that he likes to drive at defences. He's got a bit of flair about him. And it's just game time he needs, because I'm sure if he gets 25, 30 games next season, he can really show what he's about. Because obviously he's done well in spells at Arsenal, but he really hasn't had a full season in the starting 11. So a team like Villa, who are happy to attack, go at teams, show what they're about, it could be the perfect sort of move for him at this stage in his career.
I hear that. I do hear that. Harry's saying I would take Abraham back. Interesting. Harry is a Villa fan. Barkley has been a joke. Started so well and dropped off. I would love Smith Rowe, but won't happen.
Yeah.
Give me Buendia, Tammy, and McNeil, and we're pushing for Europa. DC saying Barkley, what a shit lazy player.
Barkley's kind of defined Villa's second half of the season, really, hasn't he? Kind of just fallen off the cliff, and obviously they were fine for Europe, and what did they finish 11th, I think?
Yeah, I think it was 11th. DC is happy he's found another Villa fan. But if you are new, then make sure you've hit that subscribe button, because look, we're looking at doing more content, potentially trying to do get some Villa fans, some Newcastle fans, do a few of these teams that are mid-table, sort of couple of shows for you a week for them as well, which I'm sure will be very, very good. I suppose we do an Arsenal show, so we can incorporate other mid-table teams as well. That's not a problem. I could turn Tuesday into mid-table day. But the last one we're going to talk about before I put the link in the chat is Conte. Conte has made specific demands to Tottenham Hotspur. Demand number one is that Daniel Levy is not allowed to address him at all. He's not even allowed to look at him. And number two, he's also banned Daniel Levy from touching contracts and transfers and anything really. The funny thing is, and I'm being serious here, if Grealish was to break his leg going into next season, we don't buy big, then we will go down. We are second bottom on form since Grealish injury. That's the big worry. That will be the big worry for Villa. And I do hear that. But we'll get back to Villa. I just want to quickly, briefly touch on this Conte thing. So I've got here, Conte has reportedly set out his conditions for joining Spurs, including his request on Harry Kane. According to the Times, Conte will only agree to be appointed Spurs boss If he receives assurances, Kane will stay beyond this summer. So he's basically saying, I won't manage you unless you can tell me that that Harry Kane is a Spurs player going into next season. Charles, what do you make of this? Obviously, there's two parts of this, isn't there? There's part one of Conte going to Tottenham, which, if they do that, shows a huge amount of intent. But also the other part of this is Harry Kane staying at Spurs, which, again, shows that bit of intent. What do you make of this?
Conte is about to make Daniel Levy his bitch. Daniel Levy ain't going to survive this. Daniel Levy's been the same kind of like stubborn, stuck in his problems, like struggling. He kind of doesn't like to spend money. Harry Kane's already gone. That's official. Like Harry Kane ain't staying. Like, let's be realistic. If Harry Kane wants a trophy before he retires, he's going to have to leave. But yeah, I mean, I don't see Conte lasting very long, to be honest, if he does go. Because Conte is a little bit of a wild card. You know what you get with him. But sometimes you don't know what you're going to get with him. And he does stupid shit. And he says stupid shit and he thinks with his emotions. Like we've seen it at Chelsea. He thinks with his emotions. He doesn't like stop and his brain doesn't go, oh, shit. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see this ending very well if it does. The problem is that Ryan Mason is just sitting there and doing what he's told. Conte won't do that. Conte isn't going to get told. If Conte wants players, it's not going to happen. Like, break down. There's a comment here, Conte and Spurs negotiations. It will. Conte won't take shit. He doesn't take shit from anybody. Like, he ain't going to take shit from Levy. As for Enick might as well just hide, get a padded cell and a straight jacket. Like, literally, exactly. Padded cell, straight jacket for Enick. Because I don't think that it's going to end up very well for Spurs. For me, if you had a different owner, would work good. Conte, I think, would do well. But the problem is you have an owner and a board of director who's a bit of a prick. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to end well, to be honest. I don't even think they're going to get to contract signing, to be honest.
I hear that. I do. What about you, Reese?
Shall I mute my mic this time? Right. Yeah, similar sort of thoughts. I see it being too similar to Jose. Like they're both very sort of big personalities in terms of they like to dominate the room. They'll like to sort of have their way over the owners, and with someone like Poch or Ryan Mason at the moment, they're kind of I see them more as yes men, which doesn't get Spurs anywhere, but at the same time it does. It makes Levy happy, whereas obviously a manager with a bit of an argumentative sort of way about them, they're not really going to get their way with Levy, but they might sort of do a little bit more in the short term. But I think in general the Spurs players are just kind of pussies because they got rid of Poch because he was too soft and they thought it just wasn't working over such a long time, and then they got rid of Jose because he was too hard of them. So they just kind of, I think more than anything, the squad needs a real shake-up, and then you can look at managers, because I don't think anyone is really going to do anything with this group of players at the moment because they just seem to be happy to throw the manager under the bus anytime they hit any sort of bad run of form. And obviously someone like Conte, he's not going to take shit. He literally won the league last season and he's left Inter, so he doesn't care at this point. So yeah, I don't really see him lasting till probably February. He's probably similar to Jose. in time. Because I just think there's too much shit around it.
I hear that. I do. Ross saying, unfortunately for Spurs, Conte is a manager who doesn't like having just to use players he's been left with. He always wants to bring in his own players, and at Spurs, good luck with that. They're just talking about United and Rice, but we have got Kenny in the background who is chewing gum.
Niall,
like
I'm gonna have to go now.
Cheers for coming on, Charlotte. I will catch you in a bit.
Bye, guys.
Where can they find you? You can find Charlotte Strong TV on YouTube and at Charles Strong on Twitter, I believe. But Kenny, who is, as I said, currently chewing gum like a cow, what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Sancho, Smith Rowe, or Conte?
Apparently no one.
Well, I want to talk about Sancho because it's a constant. No, actually, I'm of course a United fan, so I've got a lot of news on Sancho because, of course, you know, United fans are just looking for news everywhere. You get me? So Niall, of course, said what Matthias have said. Basically, it's just that Liverpool and Chelsea aren't in the race. It's only United at this moment in time. So, for a second season running, I do think this time will be the time because Glazers do also have a fan forum on Friday as well. They have to win back from the fans. They basically have to do this deal to try and win back from the fans. They have to have a good window to try and win back some of the fans, and it probably won't win back many fans. But they want to win back some, and they want to get the merchandise. Like I've seen on some. I'm not sending you everything because some of them are from sources which I'm not completely sure about yet. So I'm not sending you everything. But what I have seen is that apparently we want to wait until the kits launch so we can advertise Sancho and then get loads of merchandise from it. And so I think that's what's going to happen. We're definitely getting Sancho. That's what I think. Because I'm probably going to get a Varane and Rice too because, to be honest, Glazers have to have a good window, basically. They've been forced to because of all these protests. They've seen what we can do. We can cancel the biggest game in the world. Well, this season, because Real Madrid versus Barcelona, not anymore, I don't reckon.
I hear that. I do hear that. Velvishwan saying, smash the like button. Please do that. You are right to do that. Lewis, what do you want to talk about? Smith Rowe, Sancho, Conte?
Smith Rowe.
Go for it.
It's an odd one. It's an odd one because Villa did bring Sancho in the January window. Yes, he got injured. Yes, he did have the best starts. Got injured. Didn't get to finish the season due to that injury. Mm-hmm. So we haven't seen the best of him as of yet. However, it's hard to say because Villa have people that can play the same role as him, and there's just been so many different rumours about different people, different positions. Such as I've seen Chris Wood and all that, and it's just if we do get another striker in that, will Villa see a formation change with Chuck Flood because Tammy Abraham was sat on the bench behind Watkins. You could be seeing a 4-4-2 where Smith Rowe, in my opinion, wouldn't fit in at Villa. Because they have Mikin and they have Samson and they have Douglas Luiz, should he say? So I don't know. Yes, he wants game time, but can you really guarantee him the game time he'll want with the people he has?
Well,
yes,
I think
if
you keep to a 4-2-3-1, then yeah, I think you do because Smith Rowe is better than any attacking central midfielder you've got at the moment.
But you're talking about Sancho who had Champions League football, I must say.
Yeah, I'm saying that Smith Rowe is probably better. He knows the league anyway.
Yeah, I get that. And it's hard to judge because we haven't seen much of Smith Rowe at Arsenal, so it's hard to judge with the current ability. Well, for me personally, I haven't seen much. You might see more than me, but for me, I haven't seen enough to justify that. So it's a bit of a reason.
They're totally different players. I mean,
yeah.
what's his name? Smith Rowe is definitely a 10 who can play in the 8 because he's more of a playmaker. Obviously, he drops deep in that way, but Sancho is more of a sort of box to box midfielder who's naturally an 8, can maybe do a job further forward, but he's not really going to drive at players in terms of dribbling and picking a wonder pass. So I don't see them as kind of being players that would affect each other in that sort of way.
If we're talking in that perspective, then yes, it is the right move, because if Sancho's better than being just behind that central attacking midfielder, then we really don't have a player that can fully justify that just behind Watkins, because Grealish can play that role, but he's better out wide in Villa. So if speaking in that perspective, then yes, it is the right move for Smith Rowe. Should it happen?
I hear that. Kenny, do I have to remove you?
No.
Ross saying Saul Niguez is now being linked with.
He's always
Chelsea,
linked to every club under the window.
He's linked with every single team.
He's been linked with Liverpool and United. So he could go anywhere. I prefer Grealish centre because he gets some more ball. Yeah, I hear that.
He's said in so many interviews though that he doesn't even have a set position. Like, he plays on the left on paper on the team sheet, but the manager gives him such a free role. He's always on the inside anyway.
You just see it so often when he plays with Villa. His position is left, like that left side of it, but he always sticks in the middle. He never sticks to that left hand side, which is good to see.
Yeah.
He said.
I remember seeing an interview saying that like the players that he idolises and watches and stuff like that, and he said De Bruyne and Coutinho was one of them, and obviously he basically plays the same sort of way Coutinho used to play. Pardon me. On the left, and obviously cutting inside, having long shots, having passes through. Obviously both incredible dribblers as well, so I definitely see him as sort of similar player to Coutinho.
Right, so do I. I mean, it's one of them that I think Smith Rowe does improve.
Villa.
Right, yeah, I've just seen the training pictures of Sancho and Rashford. I'm sure, going to get United fans flying around planet Earth today.
He deleted a different one earlier.
Yeah, but he's added this one. But Kenny, talk to me about Sancho. I know we all know who the guy Sancho is. We all know who Sancho is. We know what he has to offer. But talk to me about what you think he's going to bring different to what you've already got. So you got Greenwood, who plays on the right but wants cutting on his left. Also, you're looking at possibly moving him up into the number 9 role. So that does leave space for Sancho. What do you think we'll see from Sancho that we don't already see from this United side?
I mean, I think we'll see what we've been missing for a long time. We've not had a proper right winger. I don't think you, Reece, or Perry could say, Lewis, or any of you could say that we have an out-and-out right winger. Because Dan James is a left winger, Greenwood is a striker, and Amad Diallo we don't even know what he is yet because we've not really seen him enough, to be honest. So he does bring he does bring what we need on a right winger because we've not got one, and he brings a very good and he's a very good right winger too. The stat is I think he's had 20 goals and 20 assists in the past 3 seasons for Dortmund. It's something crazy like that. Because Bundesliga does make it. The Bundesliga defenders, no offense, but they are, I think you can agree, lower than the standard of the Premier League. Some of them, of course, some of them are very good, but I digress. So I think his numbers will slightly drop, but he will definitely bring more creativity to the side. Against a low block, we've been missing that type of Sancho guy. I think Wan-Bissaka would also massively benefit from Sancho being there if he was for the attacking thing. The attack, because if you have a good winger near you, because Trent has Salah. Trent is a very good right back, but I don't think he would be as good as he is without Salah. because I'm not saying he would be bad. I'm saying he would still be good. But Salah also, when you have a good right winger there, a good right partner in a way, it can help you massively. And Sancho is that. Sancho has creativity. And against a side that's playing a low block, like for example, Plymouth Argyle, they're playing Haram ball, they're playing terrorism ball, like you always do. They in the FA Cup, to get to the fourth round where it's 0-0, final minutes, and we're struggling to break you down, and we rotated a bit, so we bring Sancho on. He adds that creativity. We've struggled to beat in a lot of low blocks this season. He adds more creativity that we need. A lot of the time we've only beaten like sides like well, I'm not going to say Sheffield United actually, but Burnley because of Greenwood's brilliance and his shooting. Imagine if Greenwood got injured, and imagine what situation we'd be in without those. Sometimes he gets a last minute goals to get the wins for us. We need some more creativity, definitely, and I think that's what Sancho can bring. I think Sancho is primarily an assister, and he will bring a lot to United, and that's why I'm excited for him to come. But we should have done it last summer, so I'm not as excited as I would have been, but
yeah,
I'm still excited.
Reece, what about you? I mean, United's problem this season has been quite clear. It has been that sort of low block issue. Do you think this improves them? But before you speak, DC saying missing Kevin De Bruyne, missing since 29th of the 5th. Characteristics crying last seen in Kante's pocket, which I thought was quite a funny one.
Yeah, with Sancho, it just adds something that I haven't had for a long time in terms of he's such a direct player. He's got so much skill, so much flair about him. Obviously, we haven't seen him in England. Obviously, he never got a shot for City, but he's done it on the European stage, which is obviously a thing that I'm sure United would look at the most because he's faced the likes of PSG and he's done really well. He played, God, I can't even remember who Dortmund played. Sevilla this year. Fucking sorry. Fucking also coughing. Yeah. Anyway. He's got pace. He's got skill. He's got so many assists, which I'm sure is something that United are trying to get out of him because of obviously at the moment they're kind of moving their front line around so much. Rashford isn't really a creator. He's more of an inside forward, obviously on that left hand side. They've got Pogba kind of doing that. Bruno obviously gets lots of assists, but they kind of ideally need another guy who's going to be creating rather than just always forcing everything to Bruno. Like I said earlier, it makes so much sense for them, and I guess it makes sense for him because he's guaranteed, to start most games. He's a world-class player at the end of the day, and sorry, they're going to get so many years out of him theoretically, obviously, unless he decides to move elsewhere. But I see it's been a very good transfer.
Apparently Arsenal and Villa have both put in £30 million bids for Emi Buendia. Who do you think?
Yeah, I saw about
that. It'll be an interesting one. Mustafa saying Sancho is better than Rashford. Rashford is so overrated. Big up to Zachary. Robotic Jaguar told me to check you guys out. How are you guys? I'm all good. We're all good, I believe. But if you are new, it would mean a lot if you could subscribe. We actually hit 300 today, which is a mega achievement that we've actually managed that. Now we're on the road to 400, and once we get to 500, we'll do something. We'll do something special that God knows where it'll be. I haven't thought that far through yet. But 500 would be a half away from the 1,000 we need, because watch hours won't be a problem, because we do have a very loyal fan base, which we do appreciate massively. DC's NA, Zachary, Velshwan just saying Corona. Luckily, I can't catch coronavirus through a screen, so that'll be a positive. But Conte, I mean, if he does go to Spurs, is this a good appointment for Spurs, or how are we viewing this appointment with Conte? Lewis?
For Spurs, it's a good appointment. But for Conte, yes, it's good for him to get back into the job. But you're going from Inter Milan to Spurs. You're going from winning the Serie A to a team who struggled to even get into Europe this season. He has a lot of work to do if he gets the job. That's the least to say about it.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how he does and if he does turn Spurs around and get them back into secure Europe and not second-rate Europa League. Europe.
I hear that. Kenny, what about you? We're just discussing Conte. Do you see Conte being a good move for Spurs? How are we viewing this Conte move?
I mean, he said it himself. He's a serial Vina, and not a cereal as in the cereal, not a Vina as in a not appropriate for YouTube, but a serial winner basically. That's what he is. He's won he stopped Juventus' dominance. He won a title at Chelsea. The only thing is that the difference is with Chelsea and Inter is that I can't put it any more blunt than this. They're better than Spurs. Spurs are one of the worst sides I've watched for the second half of the season. They've genuinely been worse for me to watch than Sheffield United. But the eye test, not like the performance wise, the eye test, they're worse to watch than Sheffield United, and that's a big six side. Sheffield United got bottom of the league and got the worst start to a season anyone has ever had. Spurs were awful this season, and I think Conte, but even though he is a serial Vina, even though he is that, I just think like the one thing that's stopping him from winning trophies at Spurs is Spurs. How is he? If Kane leaves, because I think he will leave, even if Conte goes, whoever goes, I think he will leave and probably join Chelsea. That means that Son will probably follow. So that's your two best players gone, and then you're left with your best player being Dele Alli or someone. And that's the three best players gone in like 2 seasons, I think. Eriksen, Kane, and Son. They can't win. The squad's just not good enough. So I think Conte, he can get a top 4 finish with Spurs, and that would be great. But he's not going to get close to winning any trophies, I don't think, because that squad, if you remove Kane from it, you have to remove Son from it, because you've got to think. I'm thinking of it like this: if Kane moves, Son will definitely move, and also teams will be interested in Son as well. So they're not going to win any trophies, but I think top 4 back in the Champions League would be good, and I think Conte will get that. So that's this. Yeah. I'm putting bad things in Spurs fans' minds, but at least I gave you something positive.
Kenny is the ultimate troll. But look, we're going to wrap it up there. It's been a bit of a long day for me. I've been pretty much streaming non-stop from 3 p.m. today, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you. It's been a long day. We're back tomorrow with another long day. We've got Transfer Talk at 3 p.m. Spain-Portugal watch-along at 6 o'clock. England show at 9 p.m, followed by another one of these Transfer Talks at 10 p.m. So make sure you check us out for them. Obviously, this weekend is a huge weekend. Lots of things coming up this weekend. It's going to be a great one. It's going to be a huge weekend for us. We hit the 300 marks, buzzing for that. Kenny, thanks for attending my wedding. Big up the panel. Big up to Craig. Craig is one of our trusted moderators, who's always, he might not make it to every live, but he's definitely one that we absolutely love to see. And one thing that will help make Craig a bit happy, I've been in contact with Jeannie. he'll probably be back next week. So I've done some discussions there. So yes, Craig will be back tomorrow. Jeannie will be back hopefully next week. He popped into one of the chats yesterday, which was quite nice. Max, see you later. Congrats, Niall. And I shall be on at 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. tomorrow. Hello, Craig, my fellow mod. Let's get to 400 subs. Absolutely, we're 98 away. But you'll be asked every stream that we do. But as I say, England's show tomorrow, where we'll be discussing all the news, and obviously Trent will be spoken about, of course. Yeah, I've already discussed that one, Kenny. You're a bit behind. You are a bit behind, but we are going to wrap it up there. Big thanks to everyone watching. Go check out our socials on Twitter at Let's Talk EPL, on Instagram Let's Talk EPL _ and on TikTok at Let's Talk Premier League. Also, if you'd like to join our Discord server, we have got one in the description. I'm gonna try and be more active in there. It's just very bloody difficult when you're doing Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and streaming. And I have no life at the moment, if any of you are asking. Reese is coughing, so I'll go to him last. Lewis, where can they find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Post Sports, Twitter at NosePlayer160.
Perfect. And Kenny, where can they find you?
You can find me giving Spurs fans something to smile about in the Darren season next season. But you can actually find me at Pogba's class, because he is. I'm not having arguments about this, and Kenny TV on YouTube, because it's the second best channel on YouTube except this one.
Massively appreciated. And Reese, where can they find you, bro?
Yeah, over on Twitter, LFC_Reese. Also on TikTok, Reese_JB. And also maybe for some Euros content over on my YouTube channel, RJB TV.
Perfect. As I said, we're back tomorrow, Transfer Talk 3 p.m. So, and thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night. And this will be more regular. We will be on here more regularly at night discussing transfers. What a way to send you to sleep. Which is one way. You could be listening to me, putting you to sleep. So you never know. That'll be an experience for me, wouldn't it? All I'll say is David Patman is the one who puts me asleep every night. So I listen to, it's American politics. So what a better way than to listen to their shitty politics to put me asleep. Works perfectly, works to a treat, I will say. But until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in a bit.